During the 2022 campaigns, President William Samoei Ruto with his deputy then Rigathi Gachagua did promise that never again shall they use the police force or any unlawful groups created in the police force to settle political scores. But what happened yesterday was a real shocker. Rigathi Gachagua was attacked in a church where he was attending a church service, and the people who attacked him were policemen and goons. Therefore, my question is, what is it that this government cannot tolerate from Rigathi Gachagua, that they won't accord him the freedom of movement or freedom of association? Anyway, here's Kalonzo Musyoka with a statement from the said event.
If anything happens to Rigathi Gachagua, William Ruto, you will not have a country. Beginning with yourself. Kwa hivyo nataka nikome hapo. Tafadhali Reverend, tuombee huyu ndugu. Juzi tu tulienda hata kwa nyumba yake wa Munyoro, mke wake ni Reverend Dorcas Gachagua, and we can know what you can imagine what she is going through. And this is not the country we've been wanting to build, and we've tried to build literally brick by brick for democracy, for good governance, to be a respectable nation amongst a community of nations. And now I call on all our international partners to declare William Ruto a pariah head of state.
Well, through the whole escapade, we also have later on Rigathi Gachagua appearing and giving a statement on what transpired.
Today in Witima ACK Church, a gang of us 15 police officers, rogue police officers, under the command of 2 bodyguards belonging to that guard Betty Maina, the women rep from Ranga, Peter Wainaina Kapuga, telephone number 0723 506 647, and another bodyguard of Betty Maina, John Maina, aka Birash, telephone number 0712 791 609, and another goon from Ranga, Abros Manyeki Njeri, telephone number 0710 788 577. Converged at the Kamunyaka home of Eric Wamumbi, the Member of Parliament for Mandera, in the morning for breakfast and briefing. They later moved to Witima with the AK-47 rifles and tear gas canisters and descended on the church. They injured women and children and hurt many people. The police touched one of my vehicles, KDK 002, a Toyota Land Cruiser. They deflated tires of all the people who were in church and caused untold damage to vehicles. They beat people outside the church mercilessly. The goons that came, they were in an Nissan Matatu, KDR 467N from Namu Shato. XN 467 X from Namu Shato. These are the people who attacked the church. And they had AK-47, and we have corrected some cartridges. 7.62 millimeter, they are here, from AK-47, and they had come to kill, and they were baying for our blood. And people have been left in anguish, wondering why their own government can turn against the Church of Christ and turn against leaders. I've heard Mukomen saying that they are going to investigate. How can Mukomen investigate himself? How do police investigate themselves?
You know, I've been trailing the thought of Kenyans on this said matter from those who are sympathizers of the government and also those who are pro-Gachagua. We could see a range of emotions with people trying to liken these with what happened to Raila Amolo Odinga. And this is my take. You see, I don't support violence meted on anyone, which is even my enemy. I don't support it. Violence or any crude force applied unlawfully to a member of the nation or to any citizen of the nation, I wouldn't support that. Therefore, the government, what is doing, just the same way they did by, impeaching Rigathi Gachagua, is creating a monster that they really don't know how they're going to deal with it. Simply, Rigathi Gachagua has his rights, and up to now, there is no law that Rigathi Gachagua has broken. So, why is it that the regime is fearing Rigathi Gachagua? They know the power that he's already wielded in the mountain region, and that is why they can't take it. So, they're trying to use intimidation by the police and to make sure that Rigathi Gachagua is retained or in what we call in Swahili amedhibitiwa. But that is impossible. The people have already decided that they are following him. And by so doing, the government is just showing how intolerable it is to reality. What happened to the promise that Ruto made of not using the police to settle political scores? It is a reality that the president has pocketed most of the MPs and they are just Tumbocrats. They are people, when their tummy is full, then they just feel everything is okay. That is why these coming elections should be elections of issues, but the regime has turned it into a commercial kind of politics, whereby the highest bidder is the one to get a certain seat. And that is what I'm here to debunk. That is what they are making. But you as a citizen, make sure that you elect leaders who can take criticism, leaders who can be seen to adhere to what they have been told, and now try to find ways of mending the gaps. Like Rigathi Gachagua just mentioned how northeastern leaders are coming and are embezzling public funds, constructing huge flats, skyscrapers in Nairobi, yet in their regions, the access to water is an issue. So, is that a mess? Scratching a wound that pains? I understand, because of reality. The people of Northeastern are really agreeing with Rigathi Gachagua, set for the leaders who feel that Rigathi Gachagua has touched a place that shouldn't be touched otherwise. It is just the other day, Kimani Wamatangi properties were demolished along the railways. But coming to see of these, so when you are not complying with the government, illegalities, when you don't want to support the government, because at the end of the day, you have the freedom to support or not to support anyone that you want. But the government is not taking that lightly. Yes, he says he leaves it to the Almighty. But why are we turning these into a banana republic? Why are we turning these into a country which is governed by dwarfs, a company that is governed by people who are emotionally not intelligent? The people whom Miguna, for the lack of better words, calls them demagogues. They are throwing this nation to the dogs. They want to commit atrocities, and we as a people agree to it that it is swept under the carpet. We are not under kingpinship, whereby we are subject to whatever rules that the king comes up with. We are a nation governed by the Constitution. And we have the rights that are under the Constitution given to the people. And remember, our voice as a people reigns supreme to these leaders' interests. Therefore, there is nothing they are supposed to do that should scare us. We should stand up against all these atrocities committed by the government. Because remember, 2027 is around the corner, the election year. We saw what already is happening in Tanzania. We saw what happened the other day in Uganda. And all these presidents, including William Samoei Ruto, are great alliances. They are great friends. It is just a matter of time before William Samoei Ruto import that behavior to the elections of Kenya. Will you agree to that as Kenyans? We should not. Therefore, let us tame it before it reaches that point. We do say in Swahili, samaki mkunje angali mbichi, or udongo uwai ungali maji. Because when it's already dry, you cannot take it back. What's your take? Give me your thought in the comment section below. If you're watching from my YouTube channel and you like content of this nature, kindly subscribe and press the notification button. So anytime that we are live or we upload content of this nature, you'll be the very first person to be notified. Ahmed Khalif is my name for the Unscripted Talks here in Dab Radio. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Kwa timba kali za Afrika, Dab Radio ndio mpango mzima.